So I finally went out to see Iron Lung in one of the last theater appearances for me personally, and I will say right off the bat, I am a fan of Markiplier, like the YouTuber, all his YouTube content and all that type of stuff. I've watched him for basically at this point for decades. I feel like just one decade actually, but I've been watching him for a long time, so I obviously have a very big bias, but I also don't traditionally like horror movies. I'm not a huge fan of horror movies. I just really don't enjoy that style of movie. I'm just not that type of person when it comes to watching a movie. This is your spoiler warning for this video. I will be talking about everything in Ireland. I will not be considering not spoiling the movie. I'll be talking about its in somewhat to details. I'll be talking about all the different types of stuff that happened in the movie. So if you want to watch it yourself, go ahead and do that, and then you can watch this video. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do these styles of videos on Fridays, so please come over to the channel on Friday and check us out. Now let's get into the video. So when I went out to see Iron Lung, first of all, it was the first time I've went to see a movie since the Minecraft movie, in theaters at least. So it's been a while, and it's been literally forever since I went to a theater or a horror movie. And I know Iron Lung the game, so I wasn't entirely sure how necessarily it was going to be. The one thing that I didn't actually really know was that it was basically just Markiplier acting. I actually thought there was going to be more actors for some reason, because I know the game, so I know it's basically just your main character, but there were some other actors in there with the voices, and you do see the woman, at least for a little bit, and there's a guy there as well, and when they do the coming back up to the ship, which is interesting, because that never happened in the game. You never actually go back up the one time. And going into it, with the knowledge of the game, with my bias towards Markiplier, but my bias towards horror movies, I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about it. And I'll just say right now, at the very end of it, I really enjoyed it. I thought this movie was really good. I really actually kind of enjoyed this style of horror movie, mostly because there was basically zero jump scares. Like, you could argue maybe one or two, depending on your point of view of how a jump scare is. But for me personally, I was tense, but not like a jump scare type of tense, and I really enjoyed it. Markiplier's acting, I think, through the whole thing was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think he really did lean into his character really well. I thought Markiplier's character is really good. And I think Simon, the character that Mark plays, is honestly a really good character. His relationship with the other characters, Ava, the voice commander, basically, is interesting, but also the relationship between him and the Iron Lung itself and like his situation is really interesting. I really enjoyed how he played it. I was slightly surprised, honestly, when it comes to the fact that basically the only set was the Iron Lung. I thought we were going to maybe see a glance of the ship or the outside Blood Ocean, but basically zero. Until the very end, you never see the Blood Ocean, which is very interesting. And personally, I actually realized that I actually enjoy that more. The fact that we basically only see and are only in the Iron Lung means, just like Simon, we are very claustrophobic. It is a very claustrophobic movie. The Iron Lung is a small sub, and basically the camera is never outside of it. And it is very interesting to see the fact that we, just like Simon, we don't see the outside world, basically. And it does follow the game pretty well, but it's definitely its own take on it. For instance, like, the ending is very different, I would say, and even the middle parts are different. And I think it takes a lot of the recent trend for video game media outside of the actual video game, like the Fallout show or Arcane or the Sonic movies, the Mario movies. It's taking inspiration from it, taking characters from it, taking lore tidbits from it, but building its own story based off of that. And obviously there's a lot of nods to it, and like basically the entire set of the Iron Lung is literally just the game Iron Lung. Like, it is literally just a submarine. And I've even seen outside interviews where he's talking about like he wanted to make sure that the controls looked basically exactly the same. And they do. It really is just the controls of the game. And I really enjoyed that fact. And them being able to replicate that claustrophobicness of Iron Lung with the game's atmosphere and the movie in the atmosphere as well is insane to me, honestly. Like, the fact that I felt super claustrophobic in that while watching that movie is really interesting. And I really do think Markiplier's acting as Simon helped that fact. Like I said earlier, that his acting was good. He really gets into the character later on, and through some of his interviews as well, we've heard that they basically filmed the movie chronologically. So they were filming the movie as the script was going, or not the script, sorry, like they filmed it in chronological order. So he was getting more and more into the character as the movie went on, which kind of makes sense because Simon himself gets a little bit more confident in the script as well. So it kind of makes sense for Markiplier to get used to it more often, as well as Simon being more, I guess, outspoken. And speaking of the script, I thought it was really good. It's also strange, but also interesting because since Markiplier is basically the only character, or like he's the main character, obviously, we mostly spend the time with him. Actually, that's not true at all. We spend the entire time with him. It's just sometimes he is talking to someone else. And if he is talking to someone else, it's very rarely someone you can see. It's just basically the radio bubble thing. So it's just him. And there's large sections of the movie, I would say, where there is no dialogue. It's just Markiplier doing things because, you know, he is by himself. So he's not always talking. He's not always talking to himself. There are times where he does mutter to himself, of course, but it is more of a muttering and it's more of a self-reflection almost type of deal where when he's talking to himself, because most of the time it's just him doing things, which makes sense because that's how most people operate. And obviously he has limited oxygen as well. There are multiple times where he like notices the oxygen. So talking is obviously a problem. And I think the lack of soundtrack a lot of the times as well really helps. And the only way for him to light things is using the camera that he has on the Iron Lung. And the struggle of him basically just taping the button as well was really funny because it is a very human moment of just trying to get light. And overall, I really think that the way they did it, I actually really prefer. Because when I went into this movie in the beginning, I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. But now that I've watched it, I 100% agree that the direction they went. And I've even seen some of the behind the scenes stuff of what the set actually looked like. And it's kind of crazy, like the contraption that they built. Or not they built, the contraption that they rented to be able to move the Iron Lung like it does and like move around and all that type of stuff. And the differences between the movie and the game are really interesting. I feel like the movie has a much more religious tone than the game does. Like obviously the quiet rapture existed in Iron Lung and like the religious stuff does happen or has like some effects in the game, but it is much more profound and out in the open, I would say, in the movie. Like with him talking to the voice on the radio and talking about the light and stuff like that. And basically he becomes like he gets reborn into the world and then eventually dies. So like it does make sense that has a lot more religious tone. It's also a lot more hopeful, I would say, because of the ending as well, being the fact that he succeeds in the mission that he was given and there is a chance. I really hope they never do anything else with Iron Lung, honestly. Like, I mean, if the person who made the game, if he wants to make an Iron Lung 2, go for it. But in terms of the movie, I really hope that this is it for Iron Lung because I don't want to see the results of Simon's actions, hilariously enough. Because I like to think that they figure something out or, you know, I'm the hopeful type of person. So seeing that there is hope at the end of it, because the ending of the Iron Lung game is just a jump scare and you die and nothing happens. So, you know, it's not exactly a hopeful game, but the movie is actually quite hopeful. So it's an odd sense of the future, I guess, for the movie, even though technically it is still a very bleak setting. And seeing that really made me realize that I really enjoyed it. And the ending scene of seeing the creature eat the sub is probably my favorite part of the movie, honestly. Like, obviously, like all the scenes and stuff like that, him like rising up from the blood, seeing the light stuff or whatever it is, really, we don't really know what it is. Like, those are the two best moments in the movie, but I don't really think there was a bad moment for me. I really enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. And I do now understand why they set a record for the amount of fake blood used in a movie setting, because there was a lot of fake blood in those scenes, like a huge amount, gallons and gallons of fake blood. It totally makes sense that that's why they set that record. So, you know, and honestly, I'm just really happy that I enjoyed it. I was really worried that I wasn't going to like it because, you know, I want to support what Markiplier does, and I think it's awesome that he was doing this. But, you know, I wasn't going to say, if I didn't like it, I was going to say I didn't like it. But I did like it. And even for non-horror movie fans, I think you should give it a shot, because it is not a traditional jump scare horror movie. It is a psychological horror movie. It is a claustrophobic horror movie. It is not a in-your-face jump scare gore horror movie, which is what I don't really like, because I'm not trying to say I don't get scared or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm a huge coward. I will fully admit that. But it's just, I don't enjoy that type of being scared. Like, things can jump out at me and I'm be scared, but do I enjoy that? Not really. But this one I did enjoy, and I'm really glad that I went to see it. And also noticing the similarities between the games, like the controls that I mentioned and the camera thing as well. I'm really surprised that some of the camera shots in the very beginning of the movie, they were literally directly the same photos that you would get in the game. But after a while, it was purely just the movie stuff from what I remember. Like, you could just, it's pure the movie stuff, which is really cool. But they never did the eye jump scare from the game, because you could argue that's one of the that was the one jump scare I was expecting from the movie, but they never did that, which is really cool. I was definitely expecting that from being a person who's seen the game and knows what happens in the game. But overall, it's pretty much movie stuff. We do know that the movie is technically non-canon to Iron Lung, but I mean, it's an indie game, it's an indie movie. Who really cares about that type of stuff? I understand, because, well, one, the ending would make no sense if it was canon for Iron Lung, the game. And I'm honestly really excited. I heard that they are making a Blu-ray or something like that. I'm definitely going to be interested in buying that, because I do want to watch it again, or at least support it, because I really enjoy this independent movie, not from Hollywood type of deal. Well, I don't think I'm ever going to become a super hipster when it comes to movies. I really enjoyed this one, so I would love to own it in some way so I can watch it whenever I want to, and hopefully they do manage to get that going. But other than that, thank you everyone for watching today's video. I really appreciate it if you stuck through the whole thing. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. It lets me know if you enjoy this stuff. Same with liking the video or disliking the video. Like I said, I would love to know your feedback. Comment down below what you guys thought about Iron Lung, if you did see it, if you played the game and saw it, or if you didn't play the game and saw it. I'd love to know where people lie on that. If you'd like to support me directly, go over to my Patreon at patreon.com/technojelly. You can join all of these nice people in the credits, as well as a once-a-month live stream that we do. We can hang out and chat and play games and all that good stuff. As well as you can go over and support me with my affiliate code on poggers.shop, linked in the description. You can use code technojelly for 10% off of your order. They do hydration mixes, energy drink mixes, as well as sleep aid mixes. I've tried them. They're pretty good, as well as the shaker cups. They work pretty well as well. Once again, 10% off if you use the code technojelly at checkout, poggers.shop, linked in the description. If you'd like to follow me on other platforms, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye, everyone.